Complex and compound complex sentences. A complex sentence has two parts. It contains an independent clause and a dependent clause. Dependent clauses do not express complete thoughts and therefore cannot stand alone as its own sentence. They begin with a subordinating conjunction, such as since, when, although, because, even though, or many others. Use the acronyms WABE and AWUBIS to help remember common subordinating conjunctions. The second part of a complex sentence, independent clauses, express complete thoughts and stand alone as their own sentence. There are two ways to write a complex sentence. The first way starts with a dependent clause and is joined to an independent clause using a comma. An example of this is the sentence, "Since I have no milk, I'll go to the store." Since I have no milk is the dependent clause, and I'll go to the store is the independent clause. The second way to form a complex sentence is to start with an independent clause and have it be directly followed by a dependent clause. For example, the sentence, "I'll go to the store since I have no milk," is also a complex sentence. I'll go to the store is the independent clause, and since I have no milk is the dependent clause. Examples of complex sentences. When he handed in his homework, he forgot to hand in the last page. The first part of the sentence, when he handed in his homework, is the dependent clause. It's followed by an independent clause, he forgot to hand in the last page. The second sentence, the teacher returned the homework after she noticed the mistake. In this sentence, the independent clause comes first. The teacher returned the homework. The dependent clause comes after, and it is after she noticed the mistake. The third sentence follows a similar structure. Again, the independent clause comes first, and the dependent clause comes second. In the last sentence, after they finished studying, Jack and Maria went to the movies. The dependent clause comes first in this sentence, after they finished studying, and the independent clause follows it. Jack and Maria went to the movies. Compound complex sentences. Compound complex sentences differ from regular complex sentences in that they have two independent clauses and one dependent clause. When making compound complex sentences, make sure to use a comma, followed by a coordinating conjunction to combine both the independent clauses. If the sentence starts with a dependent clause, make sure to put a comma directly after it before adding the two independent clauses. Use the acronym FANBOYS to help remember common coordinating conjunctions. FANBOY stands for the conjunctions for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. Examples of compound complex sentences. Although I do like books, I do not like romance novels, but my sister loves them. The first part of the sentence, although I do like books, is the dependent clause. It's followed by I do not like romance novels, the first independent clause, and my sister loves them, the second independent clause. But is the coordinating conjunction in this sentence. The second sentence, even though Maria is asleep, Jack and I are still up, and we are watching TV. Even though Maria is asleep is the dependent clause. Jack and I are still up is the first independent clause, followed by the conjunction and then the second independent clause, we are watching TV. Use the following sentences to help practice identify complex and compound complex sentences. In each sentence, identify both the independent and dependent clauses. Then determine whether they are complex